So I was asked this question today from one of my good friends, and she asked, Zach, why are you getting so gaudy? Why are you talking so much about God? And she asked if I was religious and all that, so I wanted to share with you how I now see God through not only my learning, but primarily through my experiences. So before we start, I want to tell you this little story. I'm 16 years old. I'm about to get a bone marrow transplant, and I decide for myself that I'm going to read the Bible. So I read the Bible like I read a book. My transplant's in February. I start reading the Bible in about October. I get through the entire Old Testament. And at the end of the Old Testament, right before I get to the good stuff, I say, this isn't for me. Now, why do I say that? Because in the Old Testament, my interpretation was that this God in the sky, this man, this presence, this being, was just testing and testing and testing. You pass the test, you get the reward. You don't pass the test, bad things happen. I did not like that. I felt like that was a shitty way that this whole beautiful experiment, this whole beautiful experience could be designed. So it didn't answer my questions. Prior to that, I had been a holiday Catholic with my parents and brothers. The problem with that for me is that 2 years prior to that, I had a near-death experience, as hopefully you've watched the video before of me explaining that experience, where I see my dead grandpa and I'm in a tunnel of white, luminescent light, silvery gold light. And in that experience, I felt like this light, this energy source, was moving around me and through me and as me. I was not separate from it. And I was having this conversation with my grandpa who'd been dead for 7 years. So I have this experience at 14 where I'm in this beautiful tunnel of light. And then I begin to hear inaudible messages from a secondary voice, which I called this little voice. I call it in my book, this little voice, that will soon be published this year, hopefully. And what I came to know that little voice as was my inner being, my guardian angels, God source. And so, that happened at 14. Read the Bible, all of the testing, all of the challenges, all of the overcoming sounds great, but it did not resonate with me, and it didn't resonate with my experience. Fast forward, I'm done with my bone marrow transplant. I'm 19. I have all these experiences where I'm still asking, I'm still questioning, right? I haven't held true to that really deep experience I had at 14, but I knew that there was something more. I start studying. I start asking questions. I start reading different books, different Eastern religions, different New Age spirituality, whatever you want to call that. I'm initiated into meditation. My very first meditation, again, I've shared that on another video called my out-of-body experience. And that one, I expand, my body goes completely numb, and I expand to the center of the universe, of what I determined was the universe, the multiverse, whatever, the beginning and the end. And I can feel myself, even though my body is now gone, I can feel who I am extending outwardly as everything and simultaneously nothing, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the yin and the yang. And so, my perception of what God is, of who God is, after that experience, and then having another out-of-body experience, and then beginning to talk to dead people and channel people that I never thought that I could or would or even wanted to, is that God is you and I. You who are watching this are God. And what I mean by that is God, in the Bible, in every scripture, we can say is the Trinity. Omniscient, all-knowing. Omnipotent, all-powerful. But the most important thing is omnipresent in all things. When I read that in the Bible, all these experiences made sense to me. It was like these light bulbs going off in my head. God, the creative source that we think of as oftentimes we have these perceptions. I know I did for a very long time, probably up until I was about 23, 24, God was this man in the sky making decisions for me. Saying yes or no, you're worthy, you're not worthy. And what I came to experience, even though I'd had all those amazing transformative experiences starting at the age of 14, was that God is just a word to express the creative source of who you and I are. Odin is laying at my feet, my little doggy. He is God. The carpet that I'm standing on is God. That bamboo tree back there is God. And everyone, particularly religious people, want to confine the creator and the created, to make those different. But my perception, and that's why I'm sharing this, when I use the word God in videos going forward or posts that you'll see in social media, God is the omnipresent, present spirit, energy source that is flowing through everything. It's experiencing itself as that. It's very confusing, and I understand that. And it takes a lot of practice to break your mind out of the conditioned space of seeing God as a man in the sky determining who we are or who we want to be and saying yes or no, you're worthy or not worthy. You don't get that one, you get that one. I think that's a load of bullcocky. And I feel that not just because of the experiences I've had, but also because of, if you look at any sage, if you read the Upanishads, they talk about that. I didn't read that book until I was about 29. And that further cemented what I've been experiencing as these sages explaining in different books, a collection of books, what God is. And when you reach that state of awareness, when you reach that state of mind, of being, you begin to see everything as an extension of God. The problem, and this is, I'm trying to cut this video short, I'm not trying to make it too long, but the problem is that our mind is that barrier between our bodies and God and Spirit. And so, if the Spirit, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, right, this Trinity, that means that the Father and the Son and the Spirit are all one. They're all united. There's no difference. So, because we all have Spirit within us, we are Spirit, we are the creative force, the creative source known as God. That gets misconstrued when we say we are gods. In our minds, we want to say we're better than, we're higher than. But my perception, again, this is my perception, that's why it's my video, and my experience is that you watching this right now are God, forgetting who you are because of your mind, aka your ego, which has separated you from that broader perspective. Now, with that being said, we have the ability to tap back into that perspective, but it requires a deconditioning through practice. That just is what it is. You don't get anything, can't get something for nothing. But you can let go, and you can practice meditation, and you can practice letting go of your mind, aka your ego, the thing that tells you you are separate from every other thing. And when you do that, you can gain an infinite awareness, meaning, I'm saying these flowery words, and I'm trying to be kind of concrete, it's tricky. Meaning, you gain access to who you really are. You are no longer just your form. You love your form, love this beautiful body, but it is not the fullness of who I am. I love my beautiful mind. I love how my brain functions. I love how my heart pumps. But these things are just ways of helping me experience this beautiful reality. I am spirit. I am the essence of creation with the essence imbued within it. I am that. There's this mantra, and all it is so hum, so hum. And what that means is, I am that. Moses said, what is, the burning bush? What is your name? God, Yahweh, creative. And the bush responded, I am that. I am. I am that. I am. But our egos, our minds, oftentimes don't allow us to understand that. There's too many barriers. We're too conditioned based upon our physical reality that we forget that. Hence the importance of practicing meditation. God to me is you. God is in every cell. Reverend Ike says, and I love he says, God in me is my health. God put something within us that could never let us down. His presence. And so, God is the tree. God is the food. God is the water. God is you. God is all of creation and the observer of the creation. That's where we get distracted. We just want to think that the created is the created and the creator is not, but there is you within everything that you touch. Physically, the molecules in our bodies, the atoms, the electrons, sometimes will dance within the things that are, and this is quantum physics, within the physical things that we touch. And they also repel. But they repel, but sometimes they intertwine. God is that. And that's a beautiful practice to engage in, walking around going, hello, God. In every person, in everything, hello, God. In the traffic, hello, God. In the food, hello, God. In the person you dislike, hello, God. In the person you really like, hello, God. To me, God is an idea that we've named that is this beautiful presence that we cannot understand fully. We can have glimpses like I did when I was in the tunnel and felt that God force moving through me and as me. Or when I meditate and I'm able to empty myself and feel this energy fill my body and extend outward. Or when I meditated and experienced myself as the witness and the witnessed, the observer and the observed. It's very confusing to our conscious minds, but that's my experience of God. That's how I see God. And so you may not agree with that, and I think that's beautiful, that's what we've come to this beautiful earthly experience and game to play. But for me, that's God. You are God. I am God. Odin is God. The couch is God. Everything that we see in creation is God. And it makes life a whole lot more fun and enjoyable when we can have that perspective. I guess I'll end it with one thing. I'm using a lot of biblical scriptures because I think it kind of helps sometimes, and it goes like this. God is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in me, and I in him. I'm pretty sure there was a carpenter from Galilee that said that, somebody that we highly revere. He also said a few other things, but we'll just keep it at that. So I think part of it too is in that appreciation, in the love, in that emotional upliftment. We call it the vibrational upliftment. We attune ourselves to that creative source within us. Man can bring himself as low as the beast or as high as the angel. So God can also be looked at as your angels, your spiritual guides. Any spiritual form is God. I've heard it in hundreds of hypnosis sessions when I've facilitated them. Nobody's inner being, that thing, that soul, that is you, the depth of who you are, that is just slightly above your conscious mind, that is guiding you. You are twofold, you are trifold, you are eternal. That thing that is guiding you, that inner being, I've never heard somebody, when they allow that inner being to come forth and speak for them, say that they are separate. That inner being knows that they are the essence of all that is. And the beauty of being human is our minds, because it separates us from that. We forget who we are. And so we get to relearn it. And we get to have contrast. And we get to expand. And we get to grow spiritually, physically. And we get to push this earth to the next levels. Who would have ever thought that you'd be watching me right now on a camera that you're receiving energy signals from frequency ranges on a little thing in your phone? Like, you'd blow, nobody would ever think that. But anyways, these are the games we play. So, without getting off on too many other tangents, yeah, that's how I see God. Not something separate from us, but the thing that unites all of us, the presence that unites all of us, that has that higher state of awareness, that is within us, our inner beings, not separate, always within. The last analogy is an octopus, and we each are the tentacles. The octopus doesn't forget that it's an octopus. The tentacles might think that they are tentacles separate from the octopus. Oh, I'm moving this way. I'm moving this way. I'm moving that way. I'm moving this way. But we're all tentacles of the same octopus known as God. Thank you for watching. You endured this long. I appreciate it. Give me some comments, some feedback. How do you see God? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's have a conversation about it. That's the beauty of these videos, is we get to have that. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you watching. I really do. And I love you. Thank you so much. We are one, right? That's the namaste. I forget how that goes, but it's pretty much I am the awareness and you are the awareness, and when we are both in that state, we are one. So you are love and I love you. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.